a lifetime commitment to God and not to the person. Here, we encourage each other to be married to the vision of the women that God wants us to be, and whatever He does is besides the point. I'm Minister Patience, your host today, and today we are talking about marriage and money. So finances are like the number one thing that breaks marriages. If this sphere of the marriage is not dealt with properly, it can really cause a lot of issues within the relationship. So right from the beginning, we have to set the standard of what things are going to be. So you need to sit down with your spouse and assign each other roles. Now, typically, most women feel and believe that the husband should take care of the majority of the bills. I would say let's not just assume that, because things change over time. It is good to actually have a conversation with your husband and talk about finances. How are you going to handle bank accounts, for example? Are you guys going to have a joint account? Are you going to have single accounts? What are the joint accounts for? What are the single accounts for? I think it's really good for couples to be very transparent in the relationship about money. And the thing is, this is an area where the enemy really likes to come in and divide and conquer. So I'm not going to give the standard to say, hey, in marriage, it's supposed to be like this. What I am saying is you need to sit down with your spouse and both of you need to agree on what is good for both of you. Not just assuming, oh, he's the husband, so he's going to take care of the bills. Well, what if something is going on, with him? Maybe work is slow or whatever the case is. Maybe his income has gone down and yours has gone up and he's struggling over here to make ends meet, because we know men don't always want to fall short when they have responsibilities that they have to meet up to within the household. They want to meet up to it, because when they can, they feel like they're letting you down, they're letting themselves down. It's something that really affects the ego. So again, please have that moment of talking and setting the foundation of how you want to handle finances. Just in this initial instance, are you having single accounts? Are you having joint accounts? And then check in once in a while, ever so often. You want to check in, make sure everything's still good and that you are still both on the same page. Then you want to distribute the bills, based on your personal agreement. There is no standard in marriage. It's what the both of you have agreed on. Who's paying the rent? Who's paying, the insurance? Who's paying the electrical bill? Who's paying, the groceries? Who's paying this? Who's paying that, right? We want to make sure we talk about all of these things. Don't let the things go within the cracks, right? When the income is still coming, when things are still good, there's usually not a problem. The problem starts to come when there's a hiccup with the job, or hours are reduced, or somebody's laid off or fired, or maybe a business is slow. The income that was coming in is not coming in anymore. So which leads to the next thing, the budget, right? You guys need to set a budget based on the income that's coming into the home. Everybody needs to know, okay, this is the budget, this is what we're following, right? Once the budget is in place, then everybody knows where they have wiggle room, right? We women like to be kept, right? We like the husband, the man, to take care of us. Some of us, we get married just for that reason. But family, life does not always go as predicted, right? So we always want to put a cushion in the relationship for these things that can happen. What are your financial goals? So that's the next one. Financial goals as a couple, right? Where is the marriage going? Where's the unit going? And are both of you working towards these goals? Perhaps you want to buy a home. Perhaps you guys want to go on vacation. Perhaps you guys are preparing for retirement. Perhaps you want to start a business. It could be a lot. Maybe you're saving for kids, university. The list is endless. Again, it's what's unique to you. But these things need to be decided on. You can't, in a marriage, show up one day with a new car in the garage and your spouse doesn't know. That's just a recipe for disaster. A lot of people do that though. Oh, I'm going to surprise my spouse. Oh, it's my money, so I can do whatever it wants. Well, what happened to respect? What happened to mutual respect, right? Even though there's an abundance of money in the home and you can do those things, respect is, I'm going to tell my spouse, I'm going to tell my partner that, hey, this is what I would like to purchase. What do you think? Perhaps you guys don't really have that budget, but maybe because, you're having a bad day or whatever the case is. I remember once, my partner and I went to a parking lot. We went to a Honda parking lot and we were just window shopping. Before we know it, we just came home, with a minivan. And while we did it together, there was no budget in the home. So later down the road, it's something that was quite challenging to balance the bills, because it's not something that we really thought through. We got that car as an impulse buy. So yeah, eventually, we had to turn the car back in because we had overextended ourselves. So this is why I'm saying financial goals, sitting down as a couple and planning on your financial goals, deciding on what you guys want to do now and in the future is super important. And you want to do these things so that the enemy can't come and cause cracks within this marriage. Then the other thing now is debt management. So how are you guys planning on paying off the mortgage? What's the plan in place? Most mortgages are 30-year terms. Are you guys just going to write it out and pay that mortgage in 30 years? Or do you guys want to be aggressive about it? You want to pay this mortgage off in 10 years, 15 years. Guess what? It is possible. There is nothing more powerful than a couple that works together in the financial department, because both of you can decide that, hey, we want to do this thing. We have a 30-year mortgage and we're going to pay it off, and everyone will see the benefits, because I think in most households, the biggest expense is that mortgage, especially in this economy right now where the interest rates are really, really high, right? You want to sit down with your partner and plan it out. Okay, we have this mortgage. How long do we want to take to pay it off? Maybe other things can wait for a bit. We're going to wait, buying that fancy BMW. We're going to wait going on vacation. There are things that you can choose to forego in the meantime so that you can reach these bigger financial goals. Maybe you're not going to eat out. You're going to be cooking a little bit more in the house. A lot of, TV dinner nights, whatever the case is. Like I said, there is nothing more powerful than two people, husband and wife, couple, working together to just beat down those goals. Okay? Then, emergency fund, right? So in case of an emergency, are you guys setting money aside for that situation to happen? I know I'm assuming that the income in the household is okay and money is coming in. That our topic for the next podcast is our career choices and what we're doing, to bring income in. So we're gonna deal with that next week. So make sure you show up next week. But today, emergency fund. Are you guys putting some money, together for an emergency fund? If somebody gets sick, is the medical insurance, is that top notch? Do you need extra medical insurance? There's nothing wrong in discussing some of these things and making sure there is a provision, for something, just in case somebody needs to go somewhere last minute and you need to get that last minute ticket. An emergency fund is absolutely important. Then transparency. I think this is really hard for us women. I grew up in the era where, I was taught and advised to always have that, secret bank account where you have some money stashed. As wise women, yes, we always want to have some extra money stashed on the side, but I think that extra money stashed on the side is just being taken out of context, where some women will say, hey, if the marriage is not working, I'm just going to take this money and bounce and leave. That's not what that emergency account is for. It's okay to be virtuous and have a little money, stacked aside so that it's like an emergency money part two, kind of. But let's have it for the right reasons. I think it's unfair for us to be saying that his money is my money and then my money is my money, or his money is our money and then my money is my money. I think we need to really stay away from that, especially when we're in a marriage and we want the marriage to thrive. It is not just up to the husbands to provide. You can be working from home. Maybe you're a career woman. You're going wherever. But that is what we're going to talk about next week. So I will see you next time.